The Backrooms. You've been here before. Entity number 143, Snatcher weeds. Habitat, majority. The cultivator's courthouse. Description: Snatcher weeds are crimson plants that can be found on the grounds of a large number of levels within the backrooms. Instances of Entity 143 have been shown to be hostile to most wanderers and entities. Biology: Snatcher weeds, while on the ground, are crimson in color, only turning black when pulled out. They come together in tight clumps, stretching out only when in presence of prey. Most snatcher weeds are capable of extending up to 5 to 7 feet in length, making it difficult to dodge their attacks. Such instances of snatcher weeds have been described as, quote unquote, strangely sticky by those unlucky enough to encounter them. Wanderers have also reported an odd scent akin to burning. These entities are also known to be able to release toxins. While their exact chemical composition is unknown, these toxins have shown effects similar to the consumption of liquid pain. Unlike normal weeds, Entity 143 leaves are incredibly sharp, capable of causing lacerations and, in rare cases, dismemberment. The stems are covered in small, sharp thorns as well. Although difficult due to their variation in length and thickness, it is possible to cut snatcher weeds off. Doing so will cause them to harden, which makes snatcher weeds very useful weapons for those lucky enough to cut a satisfying amount of their stem. All efforts to cultivate snatcher weeds have yielded no results, with one notable exception. The cultivator has been observed to be able to plant instances of Entity 143 using a vial rumored to contain his own tears. However, it is possible to hasten its growth with spirits of liquid pain for reasons yet to be determined. That being said, they are capable of growing in a majority of levels, excluding groundless levels and levels with temperatures below 25 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 3.8 degrees Celsius. Behaviors: Snatcher weeds act like normal weeds when not within a 5-foot radius from wanderers or entities. However, when the targets are within range, the behavior of Entity 143 instances becomes erratic. Often, snatcher weeds will make any attempt to harm the being before them, be it by cutting, strangling, or releasing a deadly toxin. Some, however, do not get harmed by snatcher weeds at all, although this is rare. Footnote: It has been found that most who attain this luck were children, besides a note. See the group The Masked Maidens. Few. Note. See Entity 140. Blanche. Exceptions. Note. See Entity 180. Barry. End footnote. Conversely, when in the presence of the cultivator, note. See related tale at the end of this article, they seem to be under his complete control, contorting and moving to his will. Discovery: Snatcher weeds were first discovered by Meg Team Sacrosanct Searchers, led by Wyatt Evergreen, whilst exploring Level 10, the bumper crop. It's to be noted that after this encounter, multiple sightings of a massive clump were reported. Written below is a transcript documenting the encounter, in which the aforementioned team came face to face with the cluster of snatcher weeds, controlled by the cultivator himself. Open transcript. Begin log. Vanessa Byers. Wyatt, you can't really be serious about looking for the cultivator's courthouse, are you? I mean, we don't even know if it's real. Wyatt Evergreen. Shut it, Nessa. Don't you get it? Aren't you tired of being pushed around by the higher-ups when we could be the ones doing the pushing? If we find it, we'll be respected. Byers. I get it. It's just Damian Whitworth. Look, why, as much as I'd like to do my fair share of receiving respect, looking around an infinite bloody wheat field, note, see level 10, for some secret level ain't gonna cut it. Yasmin Fisher. Look, what have we got to lose? Besides, I'm not stealing those research notes from Tristan for nothing. Whitworth. That was some dumb fuckery you did, Fisher. Seriously. Evergreen. Do you guys mind shutting up? We're kind of recording here. Iris. You couldn't have told us this earlier? A slicing sound is heard, followed by multiple screams. Fisher. Fuck! Oh, fuck! My hand! What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Help me! The cultivator. Came to smell the roses, did you? A shame there aren't any as of now. During this time, Vanessa Bayer claims all 4 members of the team were then restrained by a multitude of snatcher weeds at the hands and feet, except for Fisher, making them drop their weapons. Said restraints have led to deep wounds on the wrists and ankles. Bayer also recalls seeing the cultivator pouring a vial of clear substance onto the ground. Wentworth. Fuck! It's you! Let us go! The cultivator. Ah, you know me. Flattering. I'm not one for flattery, however. Byers. Please let us go. We haven't done anything. The cultivator. You really think I'd bother coming after you if you had done nothing? Evergreen. Oh, fuck you. A stabbing sound is heard. Byers recounts that a snatcherweed had gone straight through its head. More screams occur, along with sobbing from Byers and Fisher. The cultivator. Pathetic. Didn't even last long enough to hear his sentence. Nonetheless, I'd say the others, Yasmin Fisher, many rumors about you. Quite the itchy hands you've got, eh? Stealing research notes, equipment, wives. Fisher, please don't kill me. I'll do anything, please. The cultivator. Negotiations? Fine. I won't kill you, but a sentence still must be given. Ah, steal no more. Fisher. Yes, I won't. Another set of slicing sounds are heard. Fisher's other hand is cut clean off. Screeches occur. At the same time, the sound of the recorder falling on the ground is heard, as well as a backpack. The cultivator. There we are. As for you two, Mr. Wentworth and Mr. Byers, was it? The only crime you've done is messing around with things you shouldn't. Needn't worry, though. I'll let you free, albeit a little harmed. All 4 are dropped. The sound of the recorder getting picked up is heard. The cultivator. So, you wanted a taste of what my home is like, huh? Fine, I'll give it to you. In fact, I'll describe it myself. How's that for a reward for not getting corrupted by the sentenced? No other sounds but whimpers and sobs are heard. The cultivator. Good girl. Now, take Miss Fisher back to your base, won't you? Byers says that at this point, she and Wentworth hastily take Fisher up, who fainted. She and Wentworth then ran off in the other direction. End transcript. Vanessa Byers and Damian Wentworth made it back safely, alongside Yasmin Fisher, though sustaining multiple injuries, and with Fisher in a critical condition. As it is difficult to track down the cultivator's current location at the moment, we may only await his supposed reward of describing the level he resides in. Do's and don'ts. Do. Stay at least 5 feet away from instances of Entity 143. When encountering snatcher weeds, cut as many as possible to kill them. Don't. Don't get closer than 5 feet to them. Spray liquid pain on the weeds. Let yourself get corrupted. Link to related tale. The Masked Maidens. To mask is to reveal. The First Flower. Content warning. This tale's going to have some graphic stuff, such as implied gore and mature language. Viewer discretion is advised. Open tale. Mom, come on, we're gonna be late. The table can't wait forever, you know. One moment, your mother shouts from the upper floor. I'll just grab my purse. You both laughed as she made her way up the stairs, her walk turning into a quick skip. You look around for your car keys, glancing over the luggage you had brought in just 2 weeks prior from college. You bite your lip, a pit growing in your stomach. You would tell her soon enough. Soon as you had the guts to face the disappointment in her eyes. You couldn't even begin to imagine what she would say. A few moments after, she ran back down, a grin beaming on her face. She walks over to you, cupping your face and giving it a good squeeze. Seeing that you had been looking at the luggage, her expression becomes a little sadder. Guilt runs up your body, somewhat prepared for a lecture. I'm so proud of you. You know that? A small smile managed to emerge from you, though you looked away. Your mum flicked away a few stray brown hairs that fell on your face and chuckled. Well, it seems like we're both ready. Yeah. Before leaving out the front door, she turned around again, tapping her forehead and scoffing. I completely forgot to check the plants. Mind me, your mother is so forgetful. Forgive me. Do you mind if you could get them for me, Ethan? Those plants need watering. You nod, quickly tying your shoelace before running out into the backyard. It'll be just a minute, Mom. You stay there, okay? You wondered why she never responded. She always did before, though it didn't take much time for you to see why, when your vision was blinded with walls of yellow. Those plants needed watering. If only you let them go dry. You woke up to a harsh kick in your stomach, groaning and rolling over, looking in the direction of whoever kicked you. You forced yourself to sit up, moving as cautiously as possible, moving your restrained legs up to your stomach in hopes you could block them from hitting you there again. Yeah, get up, fucking freak. You heard laughter from everyone else in the group but one of them, the girl you had been with long before you met the others, Angela. You let out a tiny sound of confusion, and he scoffed. Don't sound so confused. Your snores were killing us. Not like yours are any quieter, you quietly blurt out, quickly realizing the mistake you made. The man kicked you in the chest, slamming your back against the concrete floor. You felt tears grow in your eyes, though none of them could fall, as they were absorbed by the blindfold they wrapped around your eyes so tightly. You try that shit again, boy? I might just break your arm again, he said boldly, pulling your chin up. Don't you understand? You're nothing but a weapon for us, and until your tear ducts stop producing any more tears, you'll just be food for the monster that runs this place. Got it? When he let go, you kept yourself on the floor, suppressing your pained groans and not responding. The only thing that will keep me alive, you thought. Then again, this felt nothing like life. I can't do this anymore. You could try to escape again, you thought. Out of the 5 people within the group, 2 were badly injured. 2 boys, Harry and Tyler. Not to mention that from when you were still able to observe them, you saw that the man who kicked you just now, Ben, had a rather weak physique. Had they not had such powerful weapons like firearms, you assumed they wouldn't have survived as long as they did. Even still, the restraints around your legs and arms and your injuries made it impossible. Maybe it was. You felt your resolve breaking. Oh, you couldn't leave. There's simply too much. Who would you run off to, anyway? Last time you chose to stay with people, it only led to this. It's not like you knew. You didn't know what you were capable of. Please, stop it. It hurts. Help me. Help me. Abruptly, the blindfold around your eyes shifted and was moved away. Angela set it down and gripped her arm, giving you a soft smile. You didn't smile back. Hey, Ethan, she said, her voice breaking just a little as she whispered. How are you holding up? Your chest grew heavy and your eyebrows furrowed. How do you think I'm holding up, Ange? I treat you a little better than me. It's like you don't know me. What has gotten into you? Hey, Angela, one of the other men, Greg, said from the campfire, shooting a glare at you and the girl as he ran his hand through his auburn hair. The fuck do you think you're doing? Angela quickly turns around. No, nothing, Greg. I need to ask, the freaks about something. Whatever, just hurry up. Huh? Yeah, I will. Once he turned back, Angela quickly unties the rope around your feet, pulling you up. Trudging along and following Angela, you two slouched into a large tent that the group had created rather recently, having a blindfold on nearly 24/7 during the time the group had found more supply crates within the sprawling warehouse structure of Level 1, Habitable Zone. You were surprised by the spacious size of the tent, as both of you were able to stand straight. Because of the tarp that made up the tent, it felt quite warm, too. You and Angela sat down, setting down the hunting knife you assumed Ben had given her for protection, and untying the restraints on your wrists, too. It was silent for a moment. Neither of you looked at one another, and you felt your body grow stiff. You ought to calm down, you decided. It wasn't her fault that she couldn't help. You knew she was only trying to survive. Helping someone who could harm them, albeit unintentionally, wasn't the way how. So, how have you been? You asked quietly, watching as she scooted herself closer to you. She gave you a small, unsure smile. I have been fine. Ben and Tyler have been a little, um. She pulled her open jacket tighter. Rough on me, but Harry and Greg have been helping. Rough? Yeah. You felt your face grow hot. You should have tried to help her. What were you thinking? Had you been just a little less selfish, you could have noticed she had problems too. Your eyes darted from the entrance of the tent and back to Angela, taking her hand. You should get out of here with me. I know we don't have many resources, but if we run now, we could make it to Trader's Keep. Note, Sea Level 1, Habitable Zone. It wouldn't be too long. They could help us. Come on, Angie. Her smile faded, and she looked away. I can't, she replied. Look, I know what they did to you. I'm sorry, but I just can't. She stood up, crossing her arms. Besides, I'm safe with them. They have good weapons. We have enough food to last us a while, and, well, we have you. Your expression darkened. What? Look, you know what I mean, Ethan. She turned around and bit her lip. I mean, come on. You have this crazy, terrifying power that lets you create these plant things that can do serious damage to people. I didn't want that, Angie. I didn't choose to have this. I don't even know how I got it. You snapped back, standing up, and your face twisted into a dark grimace. And seriously, are you agreeing with them that I'm nothing but a weapon to you? Well, you couldn't deny it, she replied, looking away in feigned nonchalance. You couldn't believe it. She had changed, and so quickly, too. What the fuck? You know what? We shouldn't have talked. I'm sorry. You can't leave. You'll tell them I'm escaping. And you're right. I am. We need you here, Ethan. I need you here. Angela, stop. She made her way to the entrance. You weren't sure what to do. In a panic, and finding no other choice, you grabbed her wrist and pulled her down to the ground. One thing led to another, and soon you found yourself wrapping your hands around her neck. Your right arm pulsed with pain, and something in your head begged you to stop, but you couldn't. Within a minute, Angela lost consciousness, her body falling limp. You breathed heavily, keeping your hands around her neck for a little longer. Something clicked you back into reality, and you let go, looking at Angela, then your hands, shaking in shock and disgust. Did, did I? Oh God, I didn't. No. Tears built up in your eyes, and they fell to the floor between Angela's face. Almost immediately, small, crimson weeds grew out of the concrete floor. Some curled up to Angela's green eyes and shut them, while a few curled themselves around your right arm. When it covered the entirety of your forearm, they snapped themselves, hardening and turning into a pitch black. Somehow, your arm felt more at ease now. Taking a step back and panicking, you looked around quickly, spotting the hunting knife on the floor, and taking it. If you went out of the entrance now, you surely would be caught. You ran back to the back of the tent, using your left hand to plunge the knife into the tarp, tearing a hole and creating a loud ripping noise in the process. Before you could get out, however, you heard someone yell from outside of the tent. Hey, what's taking so long in there? Angela, hurry up and get out of there. I don't want you near that fucker, Angela. You look back at the hole, eyes widening in the dreadful realization that the hole wasn't big enough to squeeze through. You tried to pull at the tarp in an effort to make the hole bigger, though hardly much of the tarp pulled away. Instead, You pressed yourself against the side of the entrance of the tent, hoping it was enough to obscure you from Ben's field of view. God damn it, I don't know why you keep the bitch around anymore. You heard a frustrated groan and watched as Ben and Tyler walked in. Shut the fuck up, Ty. Do you ever quit bickering about her? Ben replied, just before seeing Angela unconscious. Ben scurried and kneeled in front of her, checking her pulse. Fuck. I knew I shouldn't have gone with him. Fuck. Either way, you looked at it. You knew you were outnumbered. You had to make a choice, and it had to be made now. Gripping your knife, you aimed for the weaker one first, Tyler, stabbing him right in the crook of his neck. As Ben stood up to turn to you, you threw Tyler to the side, ignoring the searing pain in your left leg and kicking Ben to the floor beside Angela's body. At that moment, the weeds that stayed in the concrete wrapped itself around Ben's neck. His eyes widened with fear, attempting to pull the weeds away to no avail. After about a minute, you watched as you heard a snap come from Ben's neck. In that moment, you felt every emotion in you die. Everything but anger and pain. You breathed heavily, cautiously, making your way back to the hole until you stopped, realizing that it wasn't enough. Their deaths weren't enough. You needed more. You're not done yet, Ethan. Knife clattering onto the ground, you turned, walking towards Ben's body, and picking up the firearm he had tucked in the hem of his pants. You walked out of the tent. Bang. Bang. Much of what came after only came as a blur. You remembered Angela somehow getting up. You remembered a machete, remembered seeing blood. So much blood. Clean it up, won't you? Time only seemed to click back into place after somehow finding yourself in level 10, the bumper crop, out in the distance. With a shaking hand, you took the bag and kept walking until you stopped and fell to your knees a few moments after, your mind blank. You weren't sure why, but the first thing you did was scoop a hole into the dirt and dump the bag into the hole. As you started covering it up, you began to cry. You wept and wept, every bit of sorrow and agony pouring into the dirt below, until you wept, feeling nothing. At some point, you cried so much your head sank onto the comfort of the soft ground below you, and you fell asleep. When you had woken after who knows how long, you were surprised to find that there was a hole once again, where you had first buried the limbs, and before you, an abomination. Note, see Entity 5, Clumps. You were fearful at first, that fear only fading when you realized that it too cowered before you. You stood up, walked towards it, and placed a hand upon the creature, it shaking and unable to move. One of its arms, one that you thought was rather feminine, shakily put it upon yours. Fascinating, isn't it? No, no, this is wrong. Disgusted, you stepped back and fell to your knees once again, seeing it as an opportunity to escape. The creature fled, stumbling a few times and running until it was out of your line of sight. You looked down and saw your reflection from a little puddle, from condensation, or from your tears, you didn't know. All that you knew was that you despised yourself as you gazed into your glossy, gray eyes. You hated it. You hated the people who made you look like this. You hated. Look up. Looking up, you found yourself in front of one of the scarecrow. At its feet, a mask. Note, see Object 24, wall masks. At its base was black and gold, that went to just below the eyes, a dark smile paired with large fangs decorating the mask. Was it a demon? How could demons look so beautiful? That's right, Ethan. Take the mask. Take it. Crawling up to the scarecrow, you took the mask, a few final tears falling to the ground as you put it on. As you stood up, you felt weeds grow and wrap itself around your other arm, snapping at an acceptable length similar to that of a whip. In a moment, you started walking. To where? You weren't sure. The mask would tell you, you figured. Welcome, Ethan. Thank you for joining us.